Big old cruise ship. Oh, wow. Look up. I'm in Québec City. So the city is fortified, and you can see just getting to it would be a challenge, getting up over those cliffs. There we go, that's cool. Going up. And I'm parked up that street to the right. This is supposedly the most photographed hotel in the world, and you can't see it from here, but up behind it, oh my gosh. Let's see what this sign says. I'm in the courtyard of this big fancy hotel. Alright, I just came out of there. That didn't last long. Too many fragrances for me. Check out this statue. 1615 to 1915. It's Notre Dame. How do you get?
What year did the city was founded? 1608.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a long time ago. That's why I told you that was an important city and why it's on the UNESCO list. That's one of the first cities that was built by the French, and it became the capital of New France, basically. All the New France, spreading from Louisiana in the United States to Acadia, so the east part of Canada, all that was ruled here in Quebec City. Why is it underneath the boardwalk? That's because the chateau burned in 1834. So this floor was pretty much preserved by the ceiling, but everything else was destroyed. And so at the time they just buried everything, built the first boardwalk. So the cannons here, basically, these are real cannons. These cannons are from 1760s that year. So it served during the 7 Years' War, or the French and Indian War, as the Americans call it. But they were not used here in the city. What tells us that it's from this era is the thing here. If you want to look closer, the monogram or coat of arms. Did you recognize what it is? For a
Quebec.
point?
Quebec
No.
The
The
If
crown.
English
Sounds
crown,
like
yeah.
Crown.
Yes, exactly. So, you got a point each. What we can see here, it's pretty confusing, but it's there's a G, a 3, and an R for George III. I talked about Champlain and why he established here. That's because it's very narrow. These cannons shoot at about 1 kilometer away, at least. Not more than 2 because it's not rifle. We'll talk about that later. So that's why Champlain, was glad to be here at this location, because he didn't have to go on a ship and intercept the enemies. He just had to shoot, and cannonballs could reach easily the south bank of the river. The first wall that was built is the pink wall here. So basically, the side of the garden was used as a wall because there was another attack on Quebec. So we talked about the attack of the Kirk brothers. The next big attack occurred in 1690. Basically, again, there's a war in Europe, so the colonies are allowed to attack each other. And because the French, burned some villages in the United States, Albany was burned, so the British colonies had to, go together and attack Quebec City.
So our guide was saying these yellow bricks are from Scotland. They were used as the ballast in a ship and then offloaded. And then on the way back, timber was taken back in its place. Pretty cool.
All around the citadel, it's in the form of a star, basically. So it's really confusing for the soldiers. And of course, you don't want to jump down there. And if you want to, for example, go back, some soldiers were, they laid down on top of that so they could shoot easily people running away or coming on the glacis. So the cannons purposefully aim towards the British forts. Why? It's because if, for example, the Americans take one of the forts, they can easily shoot, they can easily self-destroy their fort if it's taken by the enemy. And the walls of the forts on this side are thinner, so it's easier to destroy with this cannon. So again, this can shoot very far away. The name of the cannon, her name is Rachel. That's her name. Rachel. That's the name of the cannon. So here, the citadel is still a military base today.
It's the entrance to the citadel.
Other than what we saw, for example, the mortars at the entrance over there, that was used in a different purpose. So cannons is to destroy walls or buildings. Mortars are made to shoot above the walls, basically.
We're going through the back way, sneaking.
So just we're gonna go over here. It's like a dungeon. It's not a dungeon. Well, here the casemate, as we call it, was built before the citadel. That's pretty funny. The wall of the last wall that was built by the French included this part, and that's basically a bunker against that they resist against bombs, cannonballs.
So up there near the trees where we were a minute ago, and
It was a period in 1880s
we just came out that door.
People were tired of having
Recreated gates, not to original design. Shift from being a fort to being a tourist city.
India and here we have one of the gunpowder magazine that you can find around the city. Now, the time period were in 1807. So again, during the British era, there's still some tensions between Americans and British, and they decide, the artillery regiment, they decide to build 5 gunpowder magazine like that.
That's where I started my tour from. Now it's time to take the steps down. Definitely a tourist place. I survived the crowds. Not sure how, because it was packed. Alright, on my way to the van, since I'm already over my time on parking. Well, I'll go find a place to stay tonight. That's a big cruise ship. Alright, I made it back. Parking was 5 hours maximum, $3 an hour. And it looks like they left me room.